Hey guys. Good boy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Recently, I've just been starting off every video with Mowgli and I love it. I'm sure you guys love seeing him too. I have no idea where all of this energy is coming from. Possibly the 4 shots of espresso that I drank right before I started filming. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, when it comes to making presents and making Christmas gifts for friends and family, I'm typically not that girl. So needless to say, in the past, I traditionally don't like to make big garments, sweaters, blankets, what have you for friends and family, just because it puts so much pressure, so much stress on myself. This year's the year though. So what I have planned this year, I only want to make 2 gifts, crochet them by hand. I really want to surprise Jordan with a little knit raglan t-shirt. Since I have a little bit extra time here at the end of the year, I kind of want to put my extra time towards knitting him a shirt. I'm gonna go ahead and include a little screenshot right here, but it's actually a knit top-down t-shirt, kind of like raglan style, short sleeve. And considering the fact that I just did a little bit of yarn shopping for Black Friday, I decided to pick out Jordan his own very specific color scheme. So I ended up getting like 6 or 7 balls of this. This is the Rico Design Fashion Alpaca Superfine Heavens. She's got alpaca, she's chunky, she's fluffy, she's thick, but she's also like very lightweight and squishy. I also don't want to put myself on a time limit, on a little time constraint with this top, because I want to enjoy it. I don't want to just rush through it just to get it done for the sake of getting it done. So the second little gift idea that I have planned is I want to try my hand for the first time ever at some crochet amigurumi. I know, I said it. I know, I've never done amigurumi before, but the urge to make my nephew-in-law like a little stuffed plushie has been overwhelming. So I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit of my knit progress, how the shirt's going, how the amigurumi is going. Yeah, let's just get to it. Should we get to it, Mowgli? Should we do it? Day 2 of knitting before Jordan comes home. As you can see, I've made a little bit of progress since I last checked in with you guys. So not much to really show other than the fact that this is a top-down sweater. So we're kind of starting at the neck and then working our way downwards. I kind of have like a love-hate relationship so far with this yarn. For what it's worth, it is extremely beautiful. The color changes are very subtle, but you do get like a really gorgeous, almost like rainbowy ombre effect. So as you can see, I started off with like the very bright teal, and then slowly but surely it does shift to a little bit more of like this browny pinky coloring, and it's just gonna kind of like shape and twist and change colors on me. There's like a little bit more green in there, so I do love the colors. If you guys are beginner knitters, I don't think I would suggest this. This is definitely more of like an intermediate to advanced type of knitter fiber. She goes like thick to thin, and because we have like this core strand, like a thread that runs throughout, and then there's like a lot of fluff, it makes working the stitches a little bit difficult. I'm always kind of getting caught up on the fluffy fiber itself instead of the actual core of the fiber. So it does kind of take me a minute to backtrack and make sure that I'm picking up the stitch correctly. But that aside, she's gorgina. I love it. Very, very soft. And as you can also see, because the fiber is so fluffy, you don't get a really good stitch definition, which I don't mind, but it does kind of make it a little bit difficult when it comes to like keeping track of your stitches and your increases. You can't really see stitch definition, so it's really hard to tell what row I've just worked if I've put it down. Honestly, I started this project really late in the day. It's already 4:30, which means Jordan gets off of work in 30 minutes, and I've only done like 2 rows today. So we officially have a little bit of progress. I wouldn't necessarily know what to call this. It's kind of giving little hat vibes. You know, I gotta stop and take a moment to give credit to everybody who does plushie work, amigurumi, toys, teeny tiny little stuffed animals. This shit is hard. Like, with the thick yarn, it's so fluffy, you can't really see the stitches. My hand is already hurting, my thumb is burning, and we're 2 inches into the project. So I've got like half an hour and I'll check back in with you guys. I mean, I could just stop here. I could just stop here and give my nephew a little hat. It actually might fit his head. Look what I made. It's the head, it's the moose head. It looks a little lopsided, but that's all gonna be taken care of because I'm gonna break into the bag of polyfill. And at this point I can start working on the body, so let's stuff the bad boy and continue to grind. In a matter of only a few extra hours, I have the body of the moose completed. Kind of reminds me of like a bowling pin, but we have the body done as well as like the few accessories that I need to like hand sew on. So I have like the little nose for the moose, finished up the arms and the legs. Look at that. They're all stuffed, ready to be sewn together. So at this point, I just need to start sewing everything on. I even have like the little moose ears. Oh, that's so cute. And this morning I also ran out and finally found the secondary color of yarn that I need. So this is just some Bernat blanket yarn, more of like an off-white shade, and that's what I'm gonna use for the antlers. I almost forgot to give you guys an update as well on the little sweater top that I'm making Jordan. We have a pretty good amount of progress, and at this point, this is what the top is looking like. So this is supposed to be made in a size medium, according to the pattern. This looks like it's gonna fit me. 8 to 9 hours into this top, but we should honestly take a moment to admire and appreciate this gorgeous ombre color shift. At first I was kind of worried that this is gonna look a little bit more rainbow-esque, but it's kind of giving me like rainbow trout. So more subdued, a little bit dirtier, murkier of colors. Stunning though. In the light you can actually see all the different separations of color. So we got this gorgeous like medium toned blue, then it kind of shifts to like a really deep browny burgundy shade, slight little bit of like pinkiness, and then I'm digging this bright kind of like green, lime green shift. And then I very cleverly matched up 2 different balls of yarn and joined them so that the color shift starts all over again. There's not really too many hiccups. I'm gonna zoom y'all in because this stuff is stunning. Look at this. Look at this. I have 3 days until we open gifts for Christmas. Will I get this done? I still have quite a bit amount of rows to add to the bottom of the body, and then I still want to go in and add a few rows on the sleeves. I've got 2 hours before Jordan comes home and then we have to head out. So I'm honestly just gonna spend the rest of my day knitting and trying to get as many rows banged out as I physically can. We're here at the very end of the video because, y'all, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I got both of the projects done. 2 2 days before Christmas as I'm filming this. Kind of a tight deadline. I don't know why I put myself through it, but it's kind of good to see that I can do it if I really push myself. So obviously we finished the plushie. We finished the little stuffed amigurumi for my nephew. It actually came out way better than I was expecting. Again, being a first timer at stuffed toys, I wasn't really expecting much, but we done did it. Let's just take a glance at her because, I mean, did we see the craftsmanship? So we got the body, we got the head, everything stuffed with that polyfill. For me, the trickiest part was the antlers, just because the stitches were so stinking tight. I couldn't see what I was doing, so I might have missed a stitch, I might have not done it correctly. But you know what, it came out pretty close to perfect, so I'm just gonna let it slide. One thing I do wanna show you guys is that instead of using safety eyes, because I know it's kind of dangerous for children, especially like young kids, I'm not risking that with the 1-year-old that we have. So I decided to crochet like little yarn buttons. Don't really ask me how I did it. I kind of freehanded it and winged it. But I kind of just made like very basic circles, and then I like stitched together the edges of the circle and like tightened it into a ball. I do wish I had black yarn, but can you guys believe it? In all of my yarn stash, I don't have any basic black yarn. That could be a problem. Do I need to go buy more yarn? The eyes turned out pretty cute, kind of look like little blueberries. We finished up the very first amigurumi of my life. I don't know if I'm gonna be making more. I don't know. I don't know how we did it because I literally finished up Jordan's shirt last night, just in time for me to wrap it up and throw it underneath the tree. Check out the top. To my surprise, it does look a little bit wider than what I showed you guys earlier, so maybe I just needed to cast it off. Trust the process, because it came out pretty stinking good. And I mean, the color changes on this top. Look at the technique. Look how good I made that. Look at the raglan increases. I mean, I killed this. I killed this. And in the worst case scenario that Jordan's not a fan of this, or he can't wear it, or it's too hot, I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it because I freaking love it. You know what? I'm gonna try it on. All right, this is the moment of truth because I actually haven't tried it on. Okay, the neck is a little bit fitted. Let us see. Is this gonna fit a men's medium? Okay. Okay. She's not too shabby. I mean, she's definitely long enough. Like, check that out. The length is definitely there. You know, I made the sleeves a little bit wider than recommended in the pattern, just because I really want to make sure that these fit over his shoulders and his biceps. I think there's enough room. Dang, this is actually like pretty cool. Tied up in like a little top, or I could just wear like some athleisure. Check this bad boy out. This looks so good. I can't believe I made this. Look at this. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna have to also wrap this up and wrap this up. Throw it under the tree, wait to see their faces. Making things for people on a deadline, it's too much pressure, it's too much anxiety. So needless to say, I'm gonna be making another one of these for myself. A little bit more fitted, probably long sleeve. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Christmas projects completed. See you guys super soon. All right, I gotta go eat. Bye.